I have a really good memory foam mattress. However, it seems to have its own heat source. It just generates heat right back at me all through the night. We live in a new build house as well. I'm in the UK and our houses are designed to keep heat in. My bedroom's south facing. I'm also a hot sleeper. I have a summer duvet in the winter and just a sheet in the summer. Conversely, my wife is a very vocal cold sleeper. There is conflict in our bedroom. The 8 Sleep Pod 3 cover, the previous generation, revolutionized our sleeping in our bedroom, and we've had it now for over 400 nights. So if the Pod 3 is that good, then how much better is the Pod 4? So let's get cracking. So it comes in 2 boxes. The first box has got the hub in, and it tells you where to open the boxes. It's a very simple setup. The hub is beautiful, just as good looking as the Hub 3. You get your power cable, you also get your instructions and then your drainage plug as well. Sitting next to the Pod 3 though, the Pod 3 is on the left, I think the Pod 3 looks good. I think the Pod 4 looks even better. However, it is slightly bigger in all dimensions, which hopefully you can see here on the camera. One thing I did notice though is on the Pod 4, the vents are much bigger. You can see the Pod 3 has a small vent here. And there's also the fans. So on the left now is the Pod 4. It's got bigger fans and there's also 2 of them. Rather than looking like it's like a fan that they bought, like it does on the Pod 3, the Pod 4 fans look like they're bespoke for this machine. The bag that the cover comes in is typical Pod 8 Sleep quality. It's very, very good. The Pod 3 was packed well. This is packed even better. Just like the Pod 3, the setup is exceptionally easy. It's almost like fitting a large fitted sheet. So you unroll it, put it on the bed. There is like a foam insert, which you just save with your packaging. And the important thing to remember is that the hose is facing the top. So I'm just turning it around here so you can see. The materials on the Pod 3 were excellent. They're even better on the Pod 4. It's a noticeable upgrade. There's also a sticker which shows you where to put the cover, make sure it's in the right position. The hose comes out the back, flat against the mattress. We put ours between the bedside table and a plant just to make sure there's some airflow around it as well. And if the Pod 3 was 9 out of 10 comfortable, then this is 10 out of 10 comfortable. It certainly feels plusher. The material feels about the same, but you can't really feel the grid anymore. But it wasn't really a problem before, to be honest. The next step is to fill the reservoir. So you pop that in and then it works to fill up the cover, which you can hear here. However, for brand new users, just use the app. The app will show you where to position the hub. It also shows you each process of setting up your hub. It makes things really, really simple. And although you may only do this process once with your hub, 8 Sleeps have worked really hard to just make things very easy for you. The new hub, you can put normal water in it as well because you just have a filter that they send you as part of your subscription periodically. And compared to the Pod 3, which takes a few hours for it to go through its filling process, the Pod 4 does it in around half an hour. I did notice that I think I put 1 more container of water in it. So I think there's a little bit more water in here than there is in the Pod 3. If you're thinking about buying a Pod 4, I'll put a link in the description. That will take you straight to 8 Sleep's website. There's normally a discount there. In addition to that, I'll also put a code with it, and then you just use that code in your basket to add an extra $50 off the price of your Pod 4 at your checkout. So use the link, use a discount code, and you can save some money on your 8 Sleep Pod 4 cover. Before getting an 8 Sleep, I would say that I was probably a 6 out of 10 sleeper. I'm now a 9 or 10 out of 10 sleeper. My sleep now is truly excellent most of the time. And that's the same for my wife. However, she had a much lower starting point. She would describe her sleep previously as somewhere like a 2 or a 3 out of 10 sleeper. She's a nighttime thinker. She's a woman of a certain age, and she just comes from a long line of people who don't sleep that well. So her improvement using the 8 Sleep has been massive. And if health, wealth, and happiness were a combat sport, then sleep would definitely be your jab. It's fundamental, and everything else you do comes off the back of it. I used to think that I could do anything, and then we had kids, and then I realized I could do anything as long as I'd had a good night's sleep. And that is just so true for nearly every aspect of my life. It's also really efficient because you're heating and cooling the body rather than the room. So if you have aircon on, for instance, it's got to work pretty hard to penetrate your bed sheets to get to you to start cooling you down. However, if your bed's doing the work, it doesn't really matter that much how warm the room is, because within your little cocoon of your bed sheets, all the work's being done there. So here's just a few of the notable improvements of the Pod 4 cover over the Pod 3. So the two fans really make a difference. So not only are they larger, as I mentioned before, there are also two of them instead of one. So they're having to work a lot less to do the same amount of work. So the temperature changes are quicker, although they weren't slow before, but most importantly, they're just a lot quieter. It wasn't noisy before, it's even quieter now. Having two fans working less is better, obviously, than having one fan working a little bit more. Next is comfort, and you may or may not heard of the book Prince Steve and the P. It was later abbreviated to Princess and the P. That might not be true. But I do like a comfortable bed. I would say the Pod 3 is 9 out of 10 comfortable. The Pod 4 is 10 out of 10 comfortable. It definitely feels more plusher and more luxurious and more like a top-end hotel bed than the Pod 3 did. However, the Pod 3 is really good. I mean, I haven't got a bad word to say against the Pod 3, just the Pod 4 adds that extra layer of comfort and plushness and luxury to your bed. The Pod 4, like the Pod 3, it does come with a subscription, which some people don't like. And I generally don't have a problem with the subscriptions. And the reason being is, these days, if I'm buying a tech product, I don't want it to be a static product. I want that product to keep evolving and getting better the longer I own it. And that's what's happened with the Pod 3, and that's what I expect to happen with the Pod 4 as time goes on. So I know a lot of people don't like subscriptions. I think there's a place for them, and this one isn't that expensive, so I'm actually okay with having one. The biggest game changer for me, and I didn't think it would be, is the side buttons. So there's now a button on each side of the bed, and you can use those to control the pod without having to get your phone out. So if you wanted to cool the bed slightly, you tap it twice and it gets colder. If you want to make it warmer, you tap it 3 times, it gets warmer. And it gives you a little bit of a vibration feedback just to let you know that it's understood and to tell you what it's doing. Now, we never used to use the alarms on the 8 Sleep, and there's 2. The first one is a vibration alarm, so it gently vibrates the bed to wake you up in the morning, and it is so much better than your smart speaker or your phone with those harsh sounds that just jar you awake. This brings you into the day in a much more tranquil way. And you can change it. So you can have a different alarm to your partner, and you can wake up without waking them up and stuff like that. So with the buttons on the side, when the alarm goes off, you can just tap the side of the mattress and that's it. It acknowledges the fact that you've woken up and it stops the alarm. We use the vibration alarm Monday to Fridays, and then there's also a temperature alarm. So with a temperature alarm, we use that at weekends more. You tell the 8 Sleep when you want to wake up, and it will look at where your sleep cycle is, and it will pick a time around that time to slowly raise the temperature of the bed or lower the temperature of the bed to kind of bring you nicely into your day. And having the ability to just control it on the side there, yeah, I mean, that's a really impressive feature. Not the gimmick I thought it might be. It's a genuinely really important part of this product. So the only downside, I think, with the Pod 4, which is probably the same with the Pod 3, is the price. There is quite a significant barrier to entry, but it is a really good product. I'm lucky enough to have my own home gym. If I was starting again, I would probably start with an 8 Sleep before buying a treadmill or a bike, for instance. As I mentioned, I'll put a link in the description. That's a discount link to 8 Sleep's website. And in the description as well, I'll put a discount code as well. So you can stack that discount. It just makes it a little bit cheaper for you. It will take an extra $50 off the price of your 8 Sleep at checkout. Well, I hope you found this video useful. I've got lots more to come with the Pod 4, so don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. And until next time, see you soon.